Hey folks, Bush here. I am a therapist in the New York area, and dawned on me the other day that I spend a lot of time in my car reflecting on certain things that might have happened in a session or something that may have been talked about in the ICBM workshop. I thought maybe I would just share these things with you as I'm driving, as I'm thinking. I hope you can get something out of this, and let me know if you'd like to hear more. So last week I had a session with a client that the client was challenged with seeing themselves as more than what others might have seen himself. What I mean by that is he was stuck in almost seeing himself as this one-dimensional being, or this one person who did this one or two or three things. And we were talking about some challenges that he kind of expand his vocabulary and his understanding about who he is as an individual. In my workshop, this is like 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fifth anchor point, which is expansiveness. So how do we learn to see ourselves, not in our present condition, but almost preparing ourselves for the future that is bound to happen. Yes, we live in the present, but there's something to be said about always being able to project ourselves into the future, which also has something to do with one of our facets within our workshop, which is adaptability. So expansiveness and adaptability, they probably go together. So the first thing might be is, can we see ourselves as more than what we are right now, and then we can move to become this other person. So as an example, let's say I'm going to use me as this for this example. I don't want to talk about my client, but let's say I was an electrician. Let's just say that. I'm not. I wish maybe that might have been a better trade to get into. But I'm an electrician. I'm probably more of an apprentice. Some people are apprentice electricians or apprentice carpenters, things like that. But at some point, I want to become a master electrician. But the first thing is, I must see myself not just as an apprentice. I'm an apprentice because I'm learning, and apprenticeships can take a very long time. But the real payoff, at least in part, will be when I become a master electrician. I have all the credentials to become this master electrician and not just an apprentice of an electrician. In my field, we had something like that where I had to be under supervision, under someone who was way more experienced than I was, had more, episodes, experiences, considerations within the field. So, yes, I am this person, this electrician apprentice now, but I want to become this master electrician. Now, the other part of that is, can I, see myself? Can I see myself, not in some false way? People say they want to do that and they visualize it, but that also takes a doing. It's not just, yes, I want that, and I want to be that in the future, but then there's a doing of this thing that moves me in to getting closer to that goal. So maybe we're setting a goal. I'm an apprentice electrician right now, but my goal is to become the master electrician. And then the further goal might become, I want to be an electrical engineer. I don't know if those things go together, but the point is that I'm always growing. I'm always trying to, once I achieve this landing point, then I establish new goals, which will get me, to another level. This could be considered expansiveness. My client was having a bit of a time seeing themselves as more than what they were, more than what they are right now, more than what they are in the moment, and sometimes more than what others see us. Sometimes others have, their opinion weighs sometimes a bit too much. We see them, or they see us in this way because it's familiar to them. And sometimes they don't want to they don't want us to change because change is a problematic state that we have to flux through. But the one universal constant is change. We are going to change. I was watching this thing about Miles Davis recently, and the presenter was breaking down these things about Miles Davis that he made me think of him becoming this expansive person. I'm not just a trumpet player who plays this kind of music. I am a musician, I'm a creative, and I must change, I must evolve and try new things. And one of the things that Miles Davis, he stopped playing his old music. And in some parts because he loved his old music, but he realized that that was going to keep him as this figure that people would look at in the same way all the time. So what does he do? He complicates what he has to do and almost starts from scratch to create something new, something different. So he was an expansive type of person that didn't just pigeonhole himself as the guy who wears the suit, who plays these music. He's not going to play Kind of Blue for the rest of his life. He actually gave other people the blues because he changed. But that change was necessary. So with all of us, the change might be necessary. It moves us to a new way of being, a new person that we introduce ourselves to. Sometimes there's that phrase, I don't know my own strength. Well, you don't until you really pay attention and assert it. And then you say, it could also be, I'm stronger than what I thought it was going to be. I'm more clever than what I thought I was going to be. I'm able to do more things than I thought I was going to do. So this sense of expansiveness plays out in, what am I here again now? And who am I going to think of myself in the future as? So, some people have this with jobs. They're always preparing for the job that they have instead of the job that could be theirs in the future. The thing that got you to be where you are now, it's good enough. But if you want to move forward, and this is a big if, some people don't want to move forward. They become static and sedentary, and they don't. There's a phrase we have: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, there's another thought says, if it ain't broke, break it. Make something new. Come up with something different. Challenge yourself. So when we have these goals, we can expand ourselves and be different from who we are 5 years ago, from who we are 5 years in the future. So this is the thing that we want to think about, and so we can make movement, so we can move ourselves into the future. We can adapt to what is inevitably coming. Change is going to come. So if you're continue to do the same thing that you're doing from last year, if once you've mastered something, you should just then move on. That might be a way to stop your boredom. Not have anxiety about the unknown, because you are then crafting the future for yourself, crafting what it is you want to do. And I'm saying crafting because craft is a little bit more careful and intentional and mindful than probably just creating. Many people create a lot of things without intention, but sometimes we want to craft it, really pay attention to it, make sure that this becomes something that really has our care and our understanding and our intention about it. To my mind, there's nothing more careful you can be about than your own future. Then how do you become, not just a better person, but a better father, a better co-worker, a better family member, a better fill in the blank, whatever you do. That takes thought, and that takes real understanding of that you have to change at some point. You're staying static, staying still, staying safe is not always a safe way to be. Sometimes you have to mix it up for yourself, see yourself in a different way, so you can become the person that you're supposed to become in the future. That is expansiveness. That is really taking care to take on what is needed and craft, kind of our slogan, craft what has yet to exist. The example is, I think my discussion with my client was more, hopefully it left them with a sense that they have not finished. They are still working. And I know that might be a topic, for a different day. When do you get a break? When do you have enough? But right now, at least for this client, they were just beginning. They to see themselves in a different light was almost, I would think, like a revelation, because they would say to me, I never thought of it that way. Well, I guess that's kind of what I'm here for. I think of it always that I'm probably living proof of how do you change, diversify your being, your stock, your personal stock. How do you take personal fidelity for what you bring into the world? That means, you also might have to take, what you don't bring into the world. You might have to take your lumps for not bringing that thing, and who knows what you're capable of. But if you want to progress, if we want to progress even as a people, men and women, and definitely our children, we have to think about ourselves in a way that gives us dimension. And to get that dimension, that dimensional thinking, we need to expand the way we look at ourselves. And if you can do that, then that's a great thing. It's a great thing for all involved, particularly if you have a family, if you have people who depend on you. You might not always be able to do the same thing over and over and over and over again, nor should you. As far as I'm concerned, you should change. I think Picasso was like that. he had different periods. So think of yourself in that way and try to become a more expansive person, and test yourself and see where your limits are, and see what you can make, what you can craft that's new and different, not be the same all the time or follow the same edicts and the same crowd type of things. That might be things that we need, particularly as we walk into the rest of this year. So hopefully you can do that for yourself. I would think also, if you're in need of help with that, there are probably resources that you can get help around. So you find that out in your community, how that works. My goodness, tonight is a rainy night, and everyone is trying to get home at the same time. Anyway, it's what it is.